Hi, everybody. It's Justin here with another Friday Fitness Talk. Um, During Project Deja Vu, I am really excited because we are getting into the heart of things. Wonderful season of withdrawals ahead, and temptations and, addiction problems and addiction breaking and all sorts of fun stuff. Yes, that was sarcasm. But I'm really excited because it is going to be all for the better. This is getting ready to be a very sticky month here, this January, February-ish time that we're in right now, is getting ready to be like that. So right now, I have given up quite a few things, and the lighter things have pretty much been given up. And I mean lighter in terms of how easy they are to get rid of and to give up. For me personally, everybody's different. Everybody has different tolerances. Everyone has different addictions. Everyone has different bad habits. But according to me, the easiest things have already been given up, and now we're really getting into the nitty gritty of some big stuff that I'm getting ready to give up. This week, for instance, I gave up unrefined oils. Talk a little bit about that later. But anyway, today's Friday Fitness Talk is going to be beverages, part A. The reason why I had to split this up into two Friday Fitness Talks is because there is so much content and so much stuff that we don't know about the things we drink. Like, whoa. I have been researching, and I have been reading, and I have been watching videos, and I'm still not to the bottom of some of this stuff. Today's video is going to be pretty full with what I have found out with just the few things I'm focusing on with today's educational focus, which we're going to be talking about juicing, since that is something that it's kind of taken over the health world as a form of, intaking fruits and vegetables, and the appropriate servings thereof. We're going to talk a little bit about caffeine. We're going to talk a lot about caffeine today and some of the effects that it has on your body, mainly your heart and your brain, which are two of the most vital organs needed to function. And we're just going to list a few other things that are commonly associated with popular beverages in America. There's like maybe 4 through 6 other things that are associated with beverages that we're going to talk about in future Friday Fitness Talks. Next week's Friday Fitness Talk is going to be beverages part B. And in part B, we're really going to be digging into how certain drinks are made, what processes they go through in order to be made, and the cause, or the things that are caused by those processes by which drinks are made. A lot of that kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about next week is probably going to blow a lot of people's minds. You don't know exactly what happened to the substance that is in that can or in that bottle or in that box that you're drinking from. So anyway, I am getting ready to get started here. I may just have 2 guests next week. I have been down for about 11 days with an ear infection. I went to prompt care again last night, and the infection itself is gone. However, I have a lot of drainage in my ear, which is why it sounds like I'm inside a bubble out of one side. I can't hear out of that ear as well as I normally do. And it's popping when I swallow and just when I yawn and different things. So, excuse me. So I got some steroids last night to help with that, the inflammation and the drainage and all that good stuff. So, luckily, there are some other things going on in my body from the weight gain, carrying around all this weight, that the steroids will help as well. There's certain things that are inflamed that will also be under control. So I'm not one that's big on drugs. I'm just not. I never have been. However, when you do unnatural things to your body, then sometimes it takes unnatural solutions to fix them or to control them. My fault. So anyway, we're going to start off talking about juicing. Now, this is going to be a really, really quick talk about juicing, because juicing is not as unhealthy as a lot of other things are. But, even though there are pros to juicing, there are cons to juicing as well. One thing I love about the nutritarian diet, which is what I'm working towards as a result of being educated by the book that Dr. Furman wrote, Eat to Live. The good thing I love about that is that there is a very, very huge emphasis on micronutrients and consuming them and consuming a lot of the things in their natural state. So, the way that we eat. So when we eat certain things that are natural from the ground, there are a lot of things in each fruit or in each vegetable that are not tampered with because it's in its original state. So the fiber, like the walls of fruits and vegetables, hide or contain certain things in there so that when it is broken into and directly consumed and released into our bodies, it is at its most effectiveness, right? Or at its highest effectiveness, should I say. A lot of times when you get into processing things, then you are now tampering with the original state of said food or whatever, fruit, whatever, vegetable, nut, seed, berry, whatever. That's the thing I love about Dr. Furman's, I don't want to call it a diet, lifestyle, the nutritarian lifestyle, is because your body is getting a lot of natural things that it does not get in America. Our country sucks, y'all. It really sucks. Our eating habits suck. The USDA sucks. Because I'm going to tell you what right now. The USDA is not concerned with people being healthy. When I first learned about a lot of these things, I was very upset about the USDA and the things that it allows. And then I thought to myself, well, maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know this, or maybe they don't know that. No, I believe they know. I believe that certain things were brought to their attention, but, the love of money is the root of all evil, right? So it's always about making money. And, certain partners are set up and certain networks are set up, and I give you money if you do this, and we're in this together, and all these partnerships and all these things that are just disgusting to me after I've learned what I've learned. They're just allowed to happen, and we call it legal because somebody in a high place put a stamp on it. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is absurd. So anyway, we're going to get into juicing. So here are the pros of juicing. So it makes nutrients easily absorbable into the bloodstream. So we know that, when you eat, your saliva is part of the initiating process of breaking certain things down when it's entering into your body. So your teeth, of course, helps physically and structurally break certain things down, and your saliva starts to act and kind of get in there and start, breaking things down before you swallow it. And then, of course, when it goes to your stomach, then the juices in your stomach and all that good stuff get to work in and break it down the rest of the way. Not necessarily 100% of the way, but most of the way. So, juicing makes nutrients easily absorbable because it breaks down the fruits and vegetables, and it's pretty much juicing everything that was there. Juicing also allows you to easily consume daily required fruits and vegetables. So that's pretty much a way of saying it allows you to be lazy and not deal with the original state of the fruit or the vegetable at hand, eating them one by one. You can just put them all in the blender and just make it one drink and just easily consume it. The third pro to juicing is that it reduces product waste. So there's a lot of things that you don't throw away when you juice because everything just ends up being, a pulp. Here are the cons of juicing. Juicing alone will not help you lose weight. The reason why is because a lot of the cause of losing weight is not the opposite of juicing. And incorporating juicing into your diet may help you get more nutrients and stuff from fruits and vegetables, but other habits that you have will counteract your efforts to lose weight. And there are just a lot of things that we don't know, which is part of why I'm doing this Project Deja Vu project to educate people on why it may be so hard for some people to lose weight, why it may be so impossible or seem so impossible for people to lose weight. We're doing things and we're encouraged to do things that pretty much prohibit us from losing weight. We are eating things and putting things into our body that are foreign, and we are encouraged to take on bad habits that are not healthy for us, and then we wonder why we're not losing weight. I digress. Getting back on track, the second con of juicing is too much sugar at once. So, a lot of this part is going to be talked about in next week's video. But just think about, if you were to take some oranges or you were to take some apples or something like that and just like put them through a juicer and then boom, you get this big cup of juice. Well, a lot of times you just get a lot of the sugary substance out of that. And it really tastes good because there's a lot of sugar in it. But a lot of, okay, I don't want to go too far into that. Too much sugar at once. Number 3, the third con is that your body does not need juice. It doesn't. It just really doesn't need juice. Think about it. Is juice natural? Juice is a man-made thing. The earth did not produce juice. Now, yes, there are fruits and vegetables that are juicy on the inside, such as melons, especially watermelons. Oranges are juicy on the inside. Lemons are juicy on the inside. Plums are juicy. But that's not juice. Juice is a man-made thing. Anything that is man-made, I strongly urge and encourage you to second guess it. It's okay. Go ahead and second guess it. Just because somebody says that something is healthy, or just because somebody in a high place puts a stamp of approval on something saying that it's healthy, does not mean it's healthy and does not mean it's good for you. Okay. Con number 4 is that you are missing fiber, a lot of the fiber that your body needs. So juicing a lot of times will strip the fiber and overload your body with sugar. So your fiber kind of not counteracts, but I guess in a sense it does kind of counteract the sugar intake. That's a next week topic, though. The lack of fiber that juicing causes, and then overloading your body with sugar, unrefined sugar also is something else that's in there, because a lot of times when we drink juices that are not juiced by ourselves, that are on the shelves of a store, a grocery store, or something like that, you can't possibly think that that is all natural sugar. I mean, there are other sugars that are added into that, and there are other flavors that are artificial or chemical, that are added into that to enhance the flavor. So we're going to be getting in next week's video, we're going to be getting into pasteurization. So a lot of juice you see are pasteurized. That's a chemical process. You heard me. Chemical, chemical, chemical. It's also, yep, I can't get into that. So yeah, next week, next week, next week. Notice that these main things that are kind of like in your face, pros versus cons, I gave you 3 pros, but then I gave you 4 cons. So the cons outweigh the pros. Yeah, just think about that for a sec. So we're going to skip over some of the stuff that I've had in my notes, because that's for next week. Now we're going to talk about caffeine. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Okay. So there is a man. Oh, by the way, the guy that provided some of that insight is named Dr. Josh Axe, AXE. That is the guy who gave those pros and cons. Now, there probably are some more pros out there and there are some more cons out there. Those are just some of the main things that are in the forefront that are really, really important, that stick out. So, keep that noted as well. So let's talk about caffeine. So there is a doctor by the name of Stephen Pollack. He's a cardiologist, and he was interviewed and he was talking about the effect that caffeine has on the heart. A lot of the stuff that I found in that study, I already knew just from my previous health and fitness journey. But here we go. So caffeine is the #1 drink in the country. Caffeine is a stimulant that raises pulse and blood pressure. So it is safe to say that caffeine in and of itself is a drug. In fact, it's the most popular drug in the country. Think about that real quick. So caffeine is a drug. It is legally classified as a drug. Not an illegal drug, but nonetheless a drug. According to this doctor, it's not safe to say that caffeine is a direct cause of atrial fibrillation, which atrial fibrillation is a condition which causes an irregular and often rapid heart rate and can lead to stroke and heart failure. So what he said is that it's not safe to say that caffeine is a direct cause of atrial fibrillation. God, I'm tongue-tied today. But it is safe to say that caffeine is directly related to the cause of atrial fibrillation. Think about that. That sounds like a contradictory statement, but it is not. Caffeine's not related to atrial fibrillation. It's not directly related, but it does cause. It is directly related to what causes atrial fibrillation. So, get that. Again, that is a condition which causes an irregular and often rapid heartbeat and can lead to stroke and heart failure. Okay, keep that in mind. Put a mental note there. We're going to revisit that. So what causes people to drink this much caffeine? So a lot of times, everyone has their own reasons for why they drink coffee. Some people drink coffee because it's a social thing. Some drink coffee because they are sleepy and tired all the time and they want to stay up. Some people drink coffee because stress, often leads. Now, in this case, stress would be the root cause of what happens here. So sometimes stress can lead to loss of sleep or rest, which then in turn makes you sleepy and feel like you need a boost of some sort, which leads or can lead to overconsumption of caffeine to get that quick fix or that high to get through the day or to perform well at work or school, right? So that's dangerous because I'm going to get into a little bit of medical science of what caffeine does actually inside the body. So consuming this much caffeine is dangerous. Now, for older people, it's even more dangerous because this can cause. It can lead to irregular heartbeat. There is something that he called it. Gosh, I cannot remember what he called it, but there's a disease that happens with the heart where it doesn't beat regularly. And it's not irregular heartbeat, it's something else. But in older people, drinking too much caffeine causes that. Gosh, I'm going to have to go back to that study and figure it out because I didn't write it down in my notes, but I know it's there. I remember there was a condition that it causes much easier in older people because older people obviously are not as young and as strong to handle these types of things as younger people are. So we'll come back to that. 300 to 6 milligrams of caffeine. Whoa. Is in today's normal servings of caffeine. So those of you that are more mature, I'm not going to say older, more mature, will remember when coffee first became a thing, even socially, or a bigger thing. A cup of coffee was like a little, like literally a little glass, a little coffee cup. So a lot of times that would probably hold about 100 milligrams of coffee. Now, what we consider a single serving of coffee, let's just take Starbucks, for example, because Starbucks is one of the leading companies that sell coffee. And it has become like almost like a fast food chain as a convenient source of just driving through and getting what you want, getting your fix of caffeine. So anyway, 300 to 600 milligrams of caffeine in today's serving of coffee type drinks. So think about grande coffee. There are about 400 milligrams of caffeine in a grande size at Starbucks of a coffee type drink. Remember that. We're going to come back to that as well. So drinking this much caffeine every day is an irritant to the heart. Oh, here it is. And in older patients, increases the risk of cardiac rhythmic abnormalities. God, I can't talk today. Let me go back again. Younger people, no. Older patients increases the risk of cardiac rhythmic abnormalities, including atrial fibrillation. There that goes again. Just like in the past, everyone's body is different. We've talked about that. I've said that in past videos that I've done on this channel. So everybody's different. Everybody has a different tolerance. Everybody's not affected in the exact same way as the next person. So, just because you may not be affected as much does not make this information invalid or false. It just means that you have a higher tolerance or you have a stronger heart or whatever the case might be. Everybody's different. So younger people with younger hearts, again, have a much higher tolerance. But why put yourself through the strain unnecessarily? So if you know that something is not necessarily good for you, why do you do it? That's pretty much one of the biggest things, one of the biggest downfalls of Americans, is that in spite of what we know, we do wrong anyway. And that's why people die because of the lack of knowledge, is because they don't know. But the phrase that says to know better is to do better is not always the case. Sometimes we know better and we still choose not to do better. And, you know, a lot of that is attributed to mainstream society in America and the things that are advertised and the things that are marketed or promoted to be socially acceptable and or cool. In other words, it's cool to do this. It's cool to smoke cigarettes. It's cool to whatever. Just, you know, those things can be the downfall and is the downfall of so many people. You know, we all have had great grandparents and grandparents and even parents. And a lot of us have people that have suffered from diseases that are caused from things such as this. And a lot of those people didn't really have the knowledge because technology has advanced so much and so to where we can scientifically discover so many more things and have discovered so many more things, especially after the 80s in the world of health, that they just did not know any better. And that's why a lot of people die because of the lack of knowledge, because they just don't know better. So another thing that caffeine is directly correlated to is high blood pressure. So caffeine definitely raises blood pressure, period. That's a fact. Most people who have been diagnosed with high blood pressure, such as myself, I do have high blood pressure. Thanks, Dad. Mine is genetic for the most part, but it will be controlled naturally once I get to a very healthy weight and once I've reached well-rounded health again. I won't need medicine, but currently I am on high blood pressure medicine. So anyway, most people who have been diagnosed with high blood pressure are on medication or should be to lower their blood pressure. What some people don't realize is that when you drink high amounts of coffee, which again raises blood pressure, you're counteracting the effects of those drugs, thus causing blood pressure controlling efforts to be canceled out. So there are some people who have high blood pressure and are on medication and wonder why certain medications are not working. You might want to consider that your caffeine intake could be the cause of your high blood pressure in the first place. Yes, sometimes high blood pressure is genetic. Yes, sometimes it's passed down. Yes, sometimes it's caused by other things. But most commonly, what I'm saying here is most commonly, high blood pressure is caused by excess amounts of caffeine intake. So, in most cases, taking excess amounts of caffeine out of the diet can control high blood pressure alone in and of itself, like I just said, rather than using meds to control the high blood pressure caused by large amounts of caffeine intake. So you could literally just cancel out the problem altogether by lowering your intake of caffeine. Now, I know I didn't say this yet. You can have 200 milligrams of caffeine a day without a problem, according to research. That's not going to really do much. I mean, that's fine. You know, you can have two little small those cups of coffee a day, and that's fine. That's not going to really do much. A cup a cup you're served in a restaurant is much different from a cup you'd get at, say, a Starbucks. So while we're talking about heart, I'm going to kind of just briefly gear away from caffeine, but we're talking about heart. So the number one leading cause of death in America is coronary artery disease, which is blockages in the arteries of the heart. So leading symptom of this is death. 1 out of every 3 people. That's scary. So, if you have a heart attack and if the number one symptom is death from that heart attack, it's too late at that point to do anything about it. It's too late to do research. It's too late to educate yourself. It's too late to take other precautionary measures. But in my studying of the heart related to caffeine, I found out some other interesting things that I really, really want to share with you. And I want you to take this to heart because this blew me away. A lot of people think that they're good to go just because they pass or get good results on an EKG test. I have gotten EKG tests in the past, and I felt pretty darn good about my heart. Like, wow, I had a good result. Like the doctor's saying, oh yeah, your heart is very strong, and all this is great. You just passed your EKG with flying colors. What most people don't know about EKGs is that they do not give you the status of your arteries, the arteries in your heart. They do not give you, okay, your arteries are 50% blocked. Your arteries are 75% blocked. Oh my God, we need to get something going because you could have a heart attack. EKGs will not get you that. In fact, the test that will get you that is, let's see, where is it? What is it called? It's called a coronary calcium score. That is the best test to get if you want to check the state of your arteries in your heart. It's pretty much a CAT scan of the heart. So basically, that's what will allow them to see the blockages and give you like a real live look at what the state of your heart arteries are. So what happens, and I'm hoping I remember this correctly. What happens is when that plaque builds up in your arteries, your body hardens it, and it becomes like a calcium buildup on the walls of your arteries. And that's where the higher amounts of calcium in that area come from, because of the plaque that's on the walls of those arteries. If you're a medical professional, give me kudos or tell me I said it wrong. I think I said it right. So blocked arteries is actually the leading cause of heart attacks. Get checked. Again, it is called a coronary calcium score. That is what will give you a realistic look at what your arteries look like. And if your arteries are blocked past a certain percentage, then you need to start therapy to get that taken care of so they can get all that blockage out of there. Or you can look at changing your lifestyle, or, whatever the recommendation would be. Now, here's the thing. Insurance does not cover these tests most times, but it could save your life. So which is more important? I think if I remember correctly, the cost of this test is usually between $75 and $100. And it is something that you don't need a physician's order. You don't need a physician's order for it because you're paying for it out of your own pocket. So it's due you. I mean, it's a test that can happen, and you want to know about your health and you want to take care of yourself, then you are due that. You are owed that. So if you go to your doctor and you ask specifically for a coronary calcium score, then you will get it. You just have to pay for it out of pocket a lot of times. I mean, if there are insurance companies that cover this, please let me know if you're one of the people who find out that your insurance company covers it, because, excuse me, because most insurances don't cover it. Did you know that taking an aspirin a day can prevent heart attacks? Yep, it's a fact. I've known that for many years. Baby aspirin. It can prevent heart attacks. When we get into talking about healthy habits for the heart, that is something that I'll dig a little bit more into. So energy drinks is another popular drink of today, and it is something that I harp on with people, and I have harped on with coworkers, and then I became a victim of energy drinks during my time and my struggles with sleep apnea before I was treated. I was drinking anywhere between 1 to 3 energy drinks a day. So it could be Monsters. Monsters were generally mostly what I would drink. There is a drink called 3D that I would drink. Every now and then I would have a Red Bull, but for the most part it was Monsters, and the different flavors that they come in. But let's see, as unhealthy and frowned upon as energy drinks are, one Monster, one can of it, will contain somewhere around only 160 milligrams of caffeine. So you'd have to drink about 3 or 4 of them to equal the amount of caffeine that's in a grande-sized coffee drink from Starbucks. Isn't that crazy? Now, I will say this. Energy drinks have a lot of unhealthy things in it. There are so many different things that we can talk about regarding energy drinks. But let me type this here before I forget. Carbonation. But in terms of caffeine itself, yeah, energy drinks have nothing on coffee. So I want to put out a disclaimer real quick, and I want to say that I'm not discouraging people from giving business to Starbucks. That is not the intention of this video. That is not my agenda. I am not trying to tear their business down by any means whatsoever. I am simply educating people to know better so they can do better with their health and prevent possible disease and health troubles. Okay? So I am not trying to discourage people from, shopping at Starbucks. I personally love Starbucks. I'm just not going to be able to drink them anymore, just because of my own personal goals and my own personal health focuses. So in another study, there was another study that I went to that did a closer look on caffeine as it related to the brain as opposed to the heart. So adenosine is a chemical that's released in your body into your bloodstream. This chemical can be called sleep pressure. The more of this chemical built up in your bloodstream, the higher your sleep pressure is, or the more sleepy you are. That's what it means. After being awake for 12 hours, so much of this chemical has been released that you'll feel an overwhelming urge to sleep. That's normal. That's natural. If you were to go another consecutive 12 hours without sleep, so much of this chemical will have built up that you'll have problems staying awake and will probably slip off into brief moments of unconsciousness. The only way to reduce this chemical in your body is by actually sleeping. During sleep, your body breaks down this chemical and flushes it out of your body. But your body does so many other things during sleep as well. So your body pretty much repairs itself during sleep. Your body heals itself during sleep. Your body progresses and grows. And I mean, there's just so many different things that your body does in sleep. And sleep itself is going to be another Friday Fitness Talk all by itself. I'm going to have a sleep expert in here. And I know a few now that I've had some problems with sleep. But sleep is a very, very, very vital part of the human life, of just any life form. Everything has to rest, right? So let's see. During sleep, your body, okay, did that already. So caffeine fights the job of adenosine, which is that chemical, by blocking it from getting to the sensors in your brain that cause it to realize the need for sleep. The problem is the adenosine itself actually never goes away. So all of that adenosine is in your bloodstream, but it's not getting to the sensors in your brain to tell it to go to sleep. I happen to believe in the body. I strongly believe in the human body because the human body knows what it needs and it knows when it needs it. And that's why a lot of people will say you need to listen to your body. Your body knows what's best. Make sure you listen to your body. The body literally is designed to take care of itself. So if you feel the need to go to sleep, then there's a reason you need to go to sleep. God, I keep yawning. I guess I need to go to sleep after this video, for real. So caffeine fights that adenosine in your body. Once caffeine sits in on those receptors in your brain for a while, making it feel alert and awoke, which is a false sense of that, adenosine is still being released in droves into your bloodstream. So after about 6 hours or so of consuming caffeine, your body's actually able to break down the caffeine, which freezes these receptors in your brain again. After this happens, the massive amounts of adenosine that's all throughout your body floods your brain at once. This is what they call crashing. Continuing this behavior back to back or consistently over time will affect your sleeping patterns. Eventually, going into a deep sleep will not happen as needed. So, going into a deep sleep is very, very, very important because there are certain things that happen in a deep sleep that surface sleep just does not accomplish. So, sleep will be another Friday Fitness video. So, we're really going to dig into a lot of that. There's a long list of things. Well, I don't know if they'd be a long list, but there's a pretty extensive list. It's got quite a few things on it of things that are associated with beverages, especially American beverages. So there's unrefined sugar, there's pasteurization, there's chemicals, there's dairy products such as milk or cream that are commonly used in coffees and teas. There's carbonation or carbon dioxide infused drinks. There are, and the list goes on. There are certain things that are associated with a lot of beverages that we don't know about that cause certain health problems. Each one of these things cause individual health problems on their own. So combining them all together, just think about what that does. So I am really, really excited, and I hope that a lot of the stuff that I'm relaying here gets taken to heart, and that a lot of you guys especially get checked about that calcium scale. I really, really hate heart attacks just as much as I hate cancer. Cancer is a really ugly, ugly disease. But, heart attacks are an ugly disease as well, but preventable. And a lot of times cancer is preventable as well. Again, to know better is to do better. So that is the educational portion of this week's video. Gosh, I'm almost at 45 minutes. Good Lord. Next week it may even be even longer, especially if these guests come through. But anyway, I just want to let you guys know that personally, I am not focusing on weight as my primary focus right now. Even though I'm losing, that's just a result of what's going on in my body. I'm pulling away and making changes to my health and training my body through transition to get used to doing better. So one by one, my body is letting go of things and not getting things, not having to digest and intake things that are foreign to it. And little by little, certain parts of my body are starting to function normally again. So weight loss is just a positive result of this process. Weight loss will be a focus once I've returned to all well-rounded healthy habits. So today, for instance, I was on my way to the Chinese buffet, and no, I wasn't going to splurge. No, I wasn't going to, glutton or anything like that. I just had a desire for certain foods. So, I was like 4 blocks away from the China buffet, and all of a sudden it dawned on me, wait a minute. I can't have really anything that I normally eat at the China buffet or Chinese period. You know that authentic Chinese, they use a lot of unrefined oil. And I gave up unrefined oil this week. That doesn't necessarily mean just fried foods, like foods that are deep fried. No, anything that is sauteed using unrefined oil also counts. So fried rice counts. And then, of course, there's all the things that are deep fried, like egg rolls and crab rangoons and wontons and fried shrimp and fried wings and all. I can't have any of that stuff anymore. None of it. Nada. So I quickly turned around the car in frustration. Not going to lie. Again, I'm transparent. And I ended up going to Golden Corral to enjoy and indulge in their salad bar. Oh, they have the best salad bar. If I was closer to Alexander Steakhouse, I would have gotten their salad bar because their salad bar is blazing. But anyway, I went to Golden Corral and made like the biggest plate of salad I could possibly make, and it was amazing. My body reacted very well to it because it was natural and it was good for me. So it's just little things like that. Like I literally was on my way to the Chinese buffet, and then I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute! No, I can't do this." And it's things like that, like breaking those bad habits that you're training yourself to come away from. And so then, after a while, it's not even going to be a thought anymore because I'll be used to it. But right now, it's like, okay, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I eat there? Can I do? It's still a process right now. So, it takes a while to develop a habit, and it takes habit a while to become character. And once it's character, you're in there. When you don't even have to think about it anymore, you've arrived at a place of changing that thing about yourself. So, thank you guys for listening to this week's Friday Fitness. Next week is going to be Beverages Part B. And I am crossing my fingers and hoping that both of these people that I have in mind will be coming to be guests on my channel. And we're going to get this thing going really, really nicely. I'm excited. So thank you guys again. And remember, if you don't like something about yourself, change it. Bye.